Hey, 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 Mrs. Luce again. You ready to wrap up the digestive system? I think I am. So, we're going to look at the ending part of the digestive system after it leaves your stomach. So, what digestive processes occur in the small intestine is the first question we're going to answer. Well, remember that liquid mixes with the food in the stomach and makes that thick liquid. It leaves the stomach and it enters the small intestine. Okay, this small intestine is the part of the digestive system where the biggest part of chemical digestion takes place. Small intestine is 6 meters long. Now think about it. You've seen a meter stick, six of those end to end, and it's all crammed in your lower abdomen or below your stomach. It is 2 to 3 centimeters wide, and it's about the half the diameter of the large intestine. It makes up 2/3 the length of the digestive system, though. Okay, so in the small intestine, you've got the mechanical digestion finished because we started with the mouth in mechanical digestion, and then it's made its way to the stomach with mechanical digestion and a little bit of chemical. And now we're time to finish up the chemical digestion. So starches and proteins have been digested from your mouth and into your stomach. But guess what? The fats haven't. So almost all chemical digestion and absorption of nutrients takes place in that small intestine. So it digests and absorbs the nutrients. So as that thick liquid moves, it mixes with the enzymes and secretions produced by the small intestine, the liver, and the pancreas. So now we got a few more organs in there. The liver and the pancreas deliver substances to the small intestine through small tubes. Okay, so what other organs are involved in the digestive process? We're going to start with the liver. Located in the upper right-hand portion of the abdomen. If you look at this picture, I mean, it's big. All right, this is a large organ in the body. I'm not going to say it's the largest organ of your body, maybe in your body, but technically your skin is your largest organ. It's a chemical factory of the body, and it produces bile. Well, what the heck is bile? Bile is a substance that breaks up fat particles. Okay, so you've got the other stuff broken down. Now you got to get that fat broken up. It flows from the liver into the gallbladder, and the gallbladder is an organ that stores bile. Now, I know I have, you may have known people that have had their gallbladder taken out. They have a hard time digesting fats because they don't have that gallbladder to get the secretions into the small intestine. So after you eat, bile passes from a tube from the gallbladder into the small intestine. Okay, bile's not an enzyme. It physically breaks up fat particles into smaller fat droplets. So think about putting some Dawn dish liquid into a greasy pan. They've used to show that commercial a long time ago. It just kind of makes the grease go away. So the droplets are chemically broken down by enzymes produced in the pancreas. So the pancreas is a triangular organ that is between the stomach and the first part of the small intestine. It produces enzymes that flow into the small intestine to break down starches, proteins, and fats. So, question 3, what role does fiber play in the digestive process? And I'm sure as you get older, you may have a doctor tell you, because I've had in the past a doctor tell me, you need to eat more fiber. Well, first of all, why? Well, first, fiber is not broken down. So it's just something that goes right through your system. But why is it important? It thickens the liquid material in your intestines. Thickening makes it easier to push that material forward and in turn give you a better bowel movement. Yes, there, I said it. So question 4, how are nutrients absorbed in the small intestine? Nutrients are ready to be absorbed as they get through the small intestine. The inner surface or the inner lining of the small intestine is like bumpy. It's got like millions of tiny finger-shaped structures called villi, and they just kind of wave around on there. That's where you're going to get the absorption of the nutrients. They pass from the cells on the surface of the villus, or villi, plural for villi, uh, into the blood vessels. So when you look at this picture here, you can see the blood vessels going up into the villi, and that's where the bloodstream picks it up. And then it carries the nutrients, you know, through the circulatory system, getting it to all your cells. 5. What role does the large intestine play in digestion? Well, by the time material reaches the small intestine or through the small intestine, nutrients are gone. What's left? Waste. It moves into the large intestine now. Your large intestine is about 1.5 meters long, about as long as like an average bathtub. It's also, if you can see from the picture, it's thicker or wider, let's call it wider, than the small intestines. All right, first of all, bacteria don't normally cause disease, okay? Because there's always good bacteria and bad bacteria. But the large intestine contains bacteria because that's going to feed on the material that's passing through, that waste stuff. So you do have some, and you know, E. coli is a good example. You have that in your large intestine to break down your food. Okay, it's not something you want to bring into the beginning of your digestive system, but having it at the end is a good thing. So as material moves through the large intestine, we got to absorb some of that water. Okay, so the water gets absorbed into the bloodstream. The remaining material is readied for elimination. So now we're going to get rid of it. Okay, it's the waste. So you got a rectum, which is a short tube at the end of the large intestine. Waste material is compressed into a solid form. Waste is eliminated from the body through the anus. It's a muscular opening at the end of the rectum. And we call that a bowel movement.